You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network, which is full of a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also love to dive into other nerdy subjects we all love to talk about in our free time. The Batman Book Club is also on Patreon. If you like what's going on with the show and you want to help support it, you can do that at patreon.com/thebatmanbc. And that helps keep the generators running in the Wayne Manor study. Now, thank you for listening to episode 98, creeping toward episode 100. My goodness. And joining me for this one to talk all Batman in March is my usual co-host on this one, usual guest. He's the Boudin Sausage #1 sponsor now. It's Peter R. Verra. Peter, from Straight Outta Gotham. There, let's drop that in there too. He's the Aquaman's co-host on Straight Outta Gotham.
The Aquaman.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Hello, Peter, how are you?
Everybody? I'm good.
This is our first recording together since we've actually hung out in person.
Is it?
It is. Because
it's
earlier
our first
this month,
recording together since we've seen a Batman movie together.
I know. What a weekend.
It's our first recording since a complete and utterly successful Batman movie's been released.
That's true.
To be honest, like we never did a show for Rises.
That's true.
At all, ever. Like this is a big first. So.
That was BP. That was before Peter.
BP.
Yeah.
British Petroleum. It's interesting. I said this on my show I recorded with Aquaman last night, and I said if this was what it must felt like to be like 35 and 95. You know, like I'm just collecting everything under the sun for the Batman. So it feels like Batman Forever Christmas right now, to be honest with you.
It's pretty incredible. And he's not just saying that. I've seen the proof. I've seen the pictures. Pete, I mean, go to his Twitter at Pete Illustrated. Let's plug it now. You share all of the goodies that you find. And I think you might have everything they've released in the toy
That's not true. I've skipped some.
You skipped the little detective kit. Otherwise, Pete, I think you might have all of it. And that's coming. Maybe that's coming.
I don't have all of it.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
More than anybody else I know.
At least I'd say like at least Spin Master wise, I'd probably say I have like 80%.
Yeah. So
it's
maybe
just fun to collect. And also like the packaging is incredible. It's not like the McFarlane packaging, which it looks like every other McFarlane, but like this is like the Batman themed packaging. Like you could.
Yeah. He's holding up right now is Selena Kyle Chase.
It's only because it's the smallest one.
Which has got the Selena and Batman and then a bike.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
And it does. And that's the thing too.
For $20, like you get 2 figures in a vehicle. Like that's
thanks
kind of a steal.
for listening to the Batman Toy Club with Ryan and Peter.
But they're listening. Like these guys, if you're listening to this show, you're sweaty after gym class. Like there's no like you got it in for Batman. So like I don't want to hear them complaining because they're like, yeah, those are the toys we want.
Yes. So as you're saying with the packaging, sometimes I don't not open things sometimes just because of like, well, then it loses its value. I'm like, no, actually to display it, I like the packaging.
Well, yeah,
and this Batman packaging that you're showing too, it's like, well, it's actually kind of cool. It's part of the,
I know,
it's part of the deal.
The rain, the cityscape. It's
Batman
the
in his pose, ready to,
he looks good. It looks, it's that's why I'm saying like it's like 95 again. Like those Batman Forever packages were very themed to the movie. So like it's kind of cool. It's like it's weird how the history seems to repeat itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So even when I showed you the Batcave, like that's a massive box, and I'm like, this box is like a perfect display piece on its own. But it will get taken out at some point. Yeah, just not right now. There's definitely I need to make some space in order to get this beauty on display.
Well, Pete, quickly talking about toys, taking it out in bat caves. Let's talk about, real quick, sponsor at Manscaped. Friends at Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your jewels. Now, Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide, that's 8 million balls, who trust Manscaped with 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BATBOOK. That's BATBOOK, BATBOOK. Now, Manscaped's Performance Package provides a plethora of products that can fit in your own utility belt, like the Lawnmower 4.0, a new cutting-edge blade on a trimmer that helps reduce accidents, is waterproof, and provides a spotlight. They also provide the Weed Whacker, which helps take care of the danglies in your nostrils, in your ears, but also there's some Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Peter, you take care of the cave?
Oh, I take care of the cave. I got my my crop preserver always by my side. You can see my bottle right here. And actually, the Weed Whacker is probably my second favorite. Get those nostrils in order. So, big fan of what they got going on.
Admittedly so. Manscaped was very kind in sending over some of these products for me to give an honest thoughts and opinions on. And I have not yet mentioned the amazingly comforting boxers that they sell.
Aren't they comfortable?
They are great.
They're very soft.
To apply the ball toner before putting on those Manscaped boxers. I mean, you walk around like you're a 1%er.
Yeah, I mean, if your balls smell good, you smell good.
I'm a big fan of that. The Weed Whacker, like you said, helps get the hard to reach areas up the nostrils. And another item that is included is that they provide a nice little mat to catch anything that may drop while taking care of business. That is a newspaper full of horoscopes and fun little articles. It is a joy to just read that as well.
While you're shaving your balls. Yeah, I mean, just make it a overall fun experience.
Trimming inside the nostrils, taking care of the hair, applying some preserver.
And I'm sure Fish Stick's even happier too. She's like, wow, Ryan, you look great. You Hollywood Boulevard over here, where you before used to look like a slum, now you're all pristine and clean. So it benefits everybody.
It's a little smoother current through the coral these days for Verra.
It's nice. That light on the lawnmower helps. God forbid you slice off your piece of deal, and then when you got nothing.
I never ever thought of trying to take care of the lawn in the dark, but now I can, thanks to Manscaped. So if you want to join in on this, make sure to go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free worldwide shipping, and just use the code BATBOOK. BATBOOK, BATBOOK. Peter, let's stop talking about our balls. Let's start talking about Batman.
That's stuff to do. Batman's got balls too. He's got to protect his. He's definitely wearing a jockstrap.
Let's talk about Batman comics in March. Now, congratulations, Peter, because you have put in the work the past 3 months, writing for Batman on Film, doing reviews for Detective Comics. 12 weeks straight.
That's been an adventure, man, and including a trip to Texas. Like, I didn't miss a review.
No,
I did that intentionally. Like, I wrote 2 reviews 1 week
for this event. You and I were neck and neck in the number of posts that we have contributed to on Batman on Film. But given this, you buying every single toy available for the Batman, you have.
That's not true. I skipped on a drifter or two.
I'm in a very distant third now. But
third?
rightfully so. You've put in the work.
Who's in second?
Peter Verra.
Oh, shut up.
So this month, Detective Comics 1055 to 1058 came out, wrapping up the Arkham Tower Shadows of the Bat event. So like we've done the past 2 episodes, Pete, let's just group instead of going week to week each detective issue.
Why? If I got to do this 12 times, why can't you do this 12 times?
Let's talk about the last third, the final act of this story. How'd you feel about it?
It peaked and valleyed for me.
Okay.
I thought like overall, like Tamaki writes like a really good like tactical story. Like she knows how to use players.
This is different than what we've seen Tamaki do up to this point, and I think that she is a fantastic writer.
She is. She's great. It's just for me, it kind of just went up and down, especially like going from like 57 to 58, just to kind of jump at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like 57 ends, right? And Nakano's wife has Psycho Pirate's mask.
Yeah.
And you're like waiting for like some sort of big showdown, right? And then 58 comes out and it's like, okay, well, that happened. So this is where we are now.
Thank you. I thought I missed something.
Yeah, it's like there's an issue. It's like there's an issue in between that I missed.
Okay.
Like, where was the big fight? Like, it was like teed up for this big fight. Like, okay, she's got Psycho Pirate's mask. Scarecrow's involved. What happens? Like, Cassandra kicks Scarecrow in the face. And that's like the last time we see her, him. And it was a great panel. But like, it almost felt like there was no resolution. Like, because, and then 57 ends really, really awesomely. Like, Batman comes out of the sky to save Nightwing from falling, right? Like, can you imagine a movie ending like that? Like, it'd be like, no, one can't end now. Uh-huh. So like, it's crazy. Like how that, it was 56 maybe. Like, you're just like, man, like that's the way to go. Like, holy cow, Nightwing and Batman, and just like, oh, well, like, geez, he just came back. There's no, like, I guess that's what 57 should have been. It was the fight, but it seemed like she teed it up for some sort of like another fight battle, and it just didn't happen. That's my opinion.
Just skipped into.
But overall, like the character development, I thought she did. Like, we learned a lot about Huntress. I thought that was great, considering she's been kind of MIA for a while. See Barbara go on Oracle was nice. What
was the Fear State one shots that they did, and they had a Huntress issue, and I didn't read
it. They've been kind of like slowly easing her in, but this is like this is the first. This like era of detective, Tamaki's era of detective, is like she's kind of back front and center. Like, she's a main player in Batman again.
Yeah, and you, I mean, I know you recommended that one, that I read that one because you really enjoyed it, and I never got around to it. But outside of that, like I totally agree with you. So this is a 12-issue story that Batman was only in the last 2 issues.
I'd say an issue and a half, maybe.
And right? I thought that this overall, this was probably, the whole event was probably like a B for me.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that's fair.
The story was done really well. The characterizations I thought were really good. Got me invested in some more than usual. And so overall, I mean, it was interesting and fun, but like, I think, like the big point that you just went to of you have that cliffhanger, if you will, that exciting buildup in 1057, and you're like, all right, and you jump right into 1058, and it's like, wait, what? What happened? Yeah. Really? We got to talk about this of the aftermath. We don't get to see it, the actual culmination of everything, and that exactly. To me took it down. So I'm like,
yeah, it was kind
okay.
Of but it's like I said, she did an amazing job with a lot of characters. Like, she juggled Nightwing. Spoiler, she did a fabulous job writing. Deb Donovan was one of my favorites, as always. She pops up and she always makes me.
Yeah, I like the addition of Deb Donovan.
Deb Donovan she makes me laugh without making, being funny. It's like oh man, Deb's here. It's like something's crazy happening. It's like, Deb's here. Like, what's going on?
Here comes Deb.
I like Deb. It's like she adds an element.
Which it's funny. I mean, how lucky
even the party crashers, I was like, these guys are kind of cool.
Lucky were you in the sense of, I mean, you read Detective Comics anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Even if you weren't reviewing them, you'd read it. But
right,
you had Peter J. Tomasi. He had a great run. And then you did, Mariko Tamaki's coming on. I'm unfamiliar with Tamaki's work. Mm-hmm. And I think that she's just pretty much been stellar.
Yeah. She's good. I read some of her Wonder Woman stuff.
Okay.
And that was good. So like she can do fantastical, and she can do like grounded stuff like that.
Detective Comics is in good hands. And coming up,
they tease a cool Riddler story at the end. So that's nice. I was
going to say that's the next story coming up, is a Riddler story. So
yeah, which is exciting, and especially since she did a lot of like twists and turns within this story. So it's like, oh, well, when you introduce a character like the Riddler into the mix, like, oh, when he's supposed to do that, like, I'm interested to see if she can take it to the next level. So. You got to be smart to write a Riddler story, and Tamaki seems like she's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. See what kind of version she comes up with for
Yeah,
Boy,
I'm
Edward.
excited.
The backup story by one of our current favorites,
Heroes?
I think, Matthew Rosenberg.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, of the backup story that's been told in
I
all
loved
12 of
it,
these issues?
except for there was, I think it was one issue that was it didn't involve our little redheaded friend at all. I think it was like issue 1057. He wasn't involved at all, and you're just kind of like, oh, what happened? Like, what is it? But like
Was that just
overall,
following Batman and them as they go in the
yeah, as
sewers?
the
Okay.
Batman, it opens with the Joker, and I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. Like, how come we follow this guy basically his whole life, and then the way it ends is just how you think it's going to end in Gotham, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
I was
we all
getting
knew
that.
this is
Oh my
coming.
gosh. I wondered reading that last part of, I wonder if it's gonna, like you just said, because I could see that because it's Gotham, and
Yeah.
sure enough,
It did.
it's too bad. And it's interesting that I don't know if you saw online that they're releasing, so this event, they're releasing it in two different, I think, hardcover volumes. One is collecting the Shadows of the Bat,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other is going to include just the House of Gotham.
That's great. I will definitely buy the House of Gotham one.
Yeah.
I really love that story.
Yeah, overall, the event was interesting. Like I said, a B. A B is a good grade, especially for something that's 12
It was an
weeks
engaging
straight.
Gotham City story. Like, Batman's not involved until the very end, but
Yeah.
the regular, having the Robins and Huntress involved is always fun, right?
Robin's Huntress.
Everybody else, Batwoman, like it's like you've got everybody else but Batman, so it's fun.
The
It's
headquarters
enjoyable.
that they'll be operating out of.
Yeah,
Stay specifics.
everything
Deb
was
Donovan
great.
has been a character now. That's a fun side character. Let's see
No
what they do with
Damian.
Dr. Let's see Dr. Meridian. What they're going to do with Dr.
That's
Meridian.
right, Dr. Meridian. Everything they did with Dr. Ware was interesting too. Adding Psycho Pirate was fun. Like, that's out of the box thinking. I never would have thought of that. So
yeah, it was using an interesting concept, and sure, we got a couple glimpses of some known rogues, but otherwise, some lesser, like Psycho Pirate became a big. Not that I don't have a tattoo of Psycho Pirate on my lower back or anything, but
not yet.
Not yet, yeah. But
you got
cool. Use somebody
Freeze,
else different.
Penguin.
Yeah, and we got glimpses
Scarecrow,
of them. And
Harley.
Well,
there was a lot of fun stuff in there.
Yep. So
I enjoyed it.
A lot of fun. Detective Comics, and
I still have to pick up my hardcover version of Joker War. So like I'm falling behind in my hardcovers.
Oh my goodness!
I know you
the saga. Or just in
like
Batman?
The saga.
Okay.
Because I know how much you love it, and let's not joke around. Like everything, Joker War is still a big impact. Like a lot of this story is off of Joker War. Like, so I will always defend Joker War.
Well, you know what?
I got you to soften up on it too.
Compared to what followed Joker War, Joker War is very good.
Count your blessings.
Let's move on to that. Detective Comics came out first 4 Tuesdays. The first Tuesday was Batman 121, wrapping up Joshua Williamson's first arc on the book post Tynan.
Oh, geez, you're going out of order of the list. I got to sort through the pile. It's a hefty pile.
Well, you have your list, I have my list. Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. Bada beep, bada bap.
Yeah, exactly. And Pete, I double dipped on this because the first 3 issues, Francesco Mattina, his covers, his art is just fantastic as it is, and I've loved his variants that he did once he started on this story. But then also, I got to buy with you Lieber Mayo's The Batman inspired cover variants.
Oh, well, I have the standard issue.
You have the standard. Yeah,
that's got. Buy with you.
I mean, it's almost garbage because of who they include on that cover.
Lex being there is not cool. But
no, that's definitely not who I'm talking about at all. So
I'll always support the oval, unlike some people.
But I got to buy the Batman cover with UP, so another magical moment we shared together. This wrapped up the whole Batman Inc. murder mystery plot. Overall, I think the story, I thought it was fun. Apparently, there's been a lot of on this arc, and people did not like it from Josh Williamson. Maybe I just really did not enjoy what came before. So I thought this was kind of a breath of fresh air. I don't think the following 3 issues met the level of the first issue of this arc. And I mean, in the end, it introduced a new villain and set up future story points with Batman Inc. and how Ghostmaker factors into that stuff. So go ahead, Pete. Be the opposing view here. You didn't enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I enjoyed Detective Comics way more, and he wasn't in it. Yeah, okay. Abyss is okay. It's the whole Batman Inc. thing that I just can't stand. Like, it literally, like, if you want me to not pay attention to something Batman, like, incorporate Batman Inc. Like, just do that. I just lose interest.
Just the mere inclusion of them.
Yeah, like, okay. I'm sitting there with this guy with his bandana and this other guy with his fake bat suit, and I'm just like, I know, I get it. I mean, I know a lot of people love Batman. It's just not my thing, but I don't know. Like, it's not a bad story. I like the deception. I like how Lex Luthor's involved. I love how everyone's backstabbing each other. It's cool. Like, it's a well written book, and that's what you expect from Williamson. And if this is his worst work, then you're in for a good read.
Well, I think
it's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think why. Because I understand what you're saying. I do. And I liked Batman. I don't know. See, it just depends on the story. On whether I'm like, a Batman Inc. story, like title, and it's just Batman Inc. Like, no, I don't care about that. And apparently where that's headed, that's teased at the end of this issue. Yeah, I'm not interested. But I think why it worked for me here is because they were almost like the bad guys throughout, and Batman was trying to figure out the details. So it was following Batman uncovering a mystery, and to me that's almost like, okay, that who else that includes kind of doesn't matter. It could be anybody because we're following Batman uncovering elements of a murder along the way. That's the star of the story, and I think that's why it worked for me, because they were small supporting characters. They weren't on the same level as Batman throughout. And I think that works for me. We got some good fights and some action, but then it's
wonderfully drawn. The book is beautifully drawn.
Resolves itself of Batman versus the villain. So I think that's why I think it worked for me. But I don't disagree with what you said on just including Batman Inc. And it's like, but I will hop onto the art, in which I love it's so stupid, but you and I say this all the time, like the paper. Buy physical. This is why Pete doesn't like digital. Smelling that paper, and then the kind of paper that they used.
Screw you, Justin.
It helps. It helps the art. The art is great, but it looks even better. Like
Molina draws an amazing Batman. He just does. Like, he looks good in the cowl. Like, it's great. And that's not the problem with the book. I'm just not into the story. And it's like you said, it is a good Batman detective story. I can't take away from that. It's just, it just doesn't gravitate towards me. So,
and you know what? That's okay, Pete.
That's fine.
Because we saw a Batman movie together.
There's a new writer coming in, like, what, 2 issues? Like, I'm like, okay, we're going to start over.
So we'll get to the next, I think, 2 issues of Batman later on in this discussion. And then, the arrival of Chip Zdarsky. On the Batman
There's 2 more issues of Batman?
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a couple weeks.
I was like, wait, did I miss 2 books? I'm like, no, Batman's weekly too.
No.
Before my mind.
There's like a couple months until Chip Zdarsky comes on the title. So there you go.
All right, what's next on your crazy Lauer list?
Batman, Killing Time #1.
Oh, by the way, the backup story for Batman, I forgot we talked because I know you don't read it. It's cute. It's adorable. I love this little Robin girl. I forget her name. She's I don't know if she is a Robin or she just wants to be a Robin, but it's a cute little thing. So if you like cute little backup stories, read that. It's not going to take up too much time.
Yeah, I need to read it. I told you that I would. Pete doesn't look at me directly and say like, "Hey, read this," very often, but he's batting 1,000 when he does that.
I still think my favorite one was the Sean Murphy drawn story at the end of, I think it was Urban Legends. That was very interesting. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
House of Gotham.
No, the black and white story, the Sean Murphy story. He drew it.
Gotham. Or not House of Gotham. God, Future State
I know it's
Gotham.
not House of Gotham.
It's not Urban Legends.
Okay, whatever. It was a backup though. I forget what it was. Maybe it was Future State.
Future State Gotham.
Yeah, that backup
that
story
one from last month. Yeah, Pete got me to read that one, and I did. And so, yeah. Main point, Pete recommends listen. Okay. Okay, let's talk about Batman Killing Time.
Yes, please. Oh, man. This thing, whoo, loved it. I want more of this. This is like...
Written by Tom King.
I'm sorry.
Art by David Marquez. Tom King causes all sorts of drama on Twitter that he doesn't even participate in. No, because it's the nerd circles. He threw out Tom King, and then people just like to battle back and forth. But here we have...
Is Tom King the comic book Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder, yeah. I've said that before, that I think he's the Twitter version or the comic version of Zack Snyder, because it just, for some reason, both sides just go at each other when you drop Tom King's name. It's crazy. So on the front of this cover,
interesting.
Right in time for the Batman, you have Batman, Riddler, Catwoman, your boy, Penguin, and then Killer Croc. Now, what the events that unfold, Pete, I had to read this twice because it's just interesting to me. Do you feel like this is Tom King's usual way of storytelling, or is it different?
No, he actually uses bubbles. Like, you got to remember, like, going back, like, we even, not to sound like this is that long ago, but like when we first read Tom King, there were no bubbles. Right? Like, his Batman was mostly like, he's like grunting. Since Batcat, he's really kind of changed his writing style, I think. And that includes the Batman Catwoman book. That's pretty wordy as well. I like this. I think this is like some of his best stuff. Like, it's intricate. Everything kind of flows. It follows one grand plan. And and it's beautifully drawn. Again, like, we're very lucky here. But like, I was like, man, this is like grand scheme of this story is very impressive and intricate, and I loved it. Like, from opening page to final, it was great. And penguins eating fish, like it's like I love how that's become a thing now. Like in DC, Tim Burton is we may be getting a more like definitive version of Penguin on screen, but comic book is diverting heavily to the Burton style Penguin. He's popped up in a few issues in a few different storylines. So
he's dropping a smoke and picking up a fish.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's go to hell, Rick.
This is a heist story that I love. We see the different angles. Like, there's almost three stories happening to make this heist happen. And
it's amazing.
He tells from each angle and how it comes together. And like you said, it's intricate. I think it's very smart. That's why
Riddler's a little young for me.
He what? He's a little young.
He's young. He looks very young. I would say he's like if you look at him, like if you look at the page where he gives he takes the phone from the CEO, right, and he puts his bowler hat on. He looks like he's early 20s, mid 20s, And then it's right before the page of Catwoman walking out of the room, like in her costume for the first time, which is probably like my favorite page of the book.
Okay.
It looks great. It just does. This is like a perfect Batman book, in my opinion.
Wow. Look at you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's perfectly balanced.
Well, two things. One, I just really want to show you Batman's, I think, introduction page into the book.
Yeah.
He's flying down.
No oval, but he's in front of one, so it counts.
Yeah, it counts. There you go. And then two, when I look at some of the faces of the characters, I got such a like Tony Daniels vibe. I thought.
Yeah, it's like that crisp, clean art,
but
very definitive. I mean, look at this. Look at the picture. Look at the illustration of Croc. Yeah. Like that is. Oh my God! Like that is just perfect. Really loved it, and how they characterize Wayland in general. I was into it, especially how it ended. I like how Penguin kept his word business wise. Like he knows he can use Croc again when he comes out. So
good issue. First issue in this is a 6-issue story, so it's a contained story, not another ongoing title. So that's a little less intimidating, always. I'm in. Obviously, unless this goes the way of Reptilian, which I hope it does not.
Well, I didn't like Reptilian from the get-go, though. Remember, like
exactly.
You were definitely not. I don't even. How did that story end?
I didn't finish.
We should do a show on Reptilian because we both don't like it.
Should we really? That doesn't
Let's
sound like
do it.
fun
We
at
should
all,
do it.
Pete.
It does. It doesn't. But like, I'm tired
I
of
got an
picking
idea.
stories that
Let's
I like.
get the Aquaman to read it, and then we'll cover it on Straight Outta Gotham.
I can't get him to continue reading Bat Cat. You want him to read? You want him to read bad Batman? You won't even read good Batman.
Lovely. Okay, well that wraps up that first week. Yeah, so we're about a half hour into this. That was the first, but we're gonna cruise now the rest of the way. So
I don't
next
care.
Tuesday
I talk to you all
is-
day. Who gives a shit?
God bless you, Pete. Let's talk about the next week. Batman Urban Legends number 13. As I told you
jumping
last
around.
month, I'm sticking to my list.
Pop it up. You're missing all the good books in between.
No, we'll get to those. We'll get to those. Okay. It's on the. Okay. Urban Legends 13.
Yeah.
We said last month that I tried the Batman Zatanna story and I couldn't get into it, but I'm here for the Ace story.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to say fun, but it still kind of is because it involves following a dog and a group of other animals
Mm-hmm.
and going on a mission and saving things, and a chicken on its own little like remote control car, which is great. And a turtle.
Literally, it's an RC chicken car.
I don't know. It's fun, and Ace is a good boy. So it's kind of dark elements too. So this is a story in this book that follows a dog. It's like Homeward Bound, Incredible Journey, the superhero version. And then you mix that with some pretty evil shit that's also happening, like some dark stuff.
And you see like why, like, what's going on with this like pet cemetery front, and it's not. It's basically a cemetery for the mob.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually hide the animals. They don't bury the animals. They bury the suspects, the victims.
Mm.
So it's interesting. It's a very Gotham City oriented story, and it's cool to watch these animals. Use their they're not real, but it's cool to see animals be that intelligent. Like Ace is smarter than my brother. Let's be honest here. I can't believe this dog can do this stuff. The Batman Zatanna story was very interesting. I liked some dialogue. I didn't like some. It's always interesting when Batman and Constantine mix it up because they just seem to be taking shots at one another. It's very interesting. You know me, I'm a big sucker for the Batman Zatanna relationship. So like, if I can get a little bit of that, I will. And it's interesting to see like, I don't really know what's going on, and I could see why someone would be lost if you're not really fully invested in kind of like that Zatanna, Batman, Constantine, like I guess trifecta. But I'm kind of digging it, but it's like I definitely have some questions. And the other two stories, I was like, I don't know what's going on. Still, I didn't even read the third one. I read one, and I was like, yeah, I don't like these. So again, still. Batman Zatanna's keep me there. I'm here for Ace the Bat Hound. That's what's keeping me going, really, to be honest with you. And the other two are just kind of, So
there you go, a pricey book, but
yeah, it's a gamble. But like, I also got this cool cover, like, against Batman Zatanna. Like, he knows, mystical stuff isn't my thing. So every once in a while, it's not bad.
There you go, Batman Urban Legend. Now, Pete, you're gonna take over here. For 2 issues. So you've jumped on to I Am Batman.
I have. Yeah. I'm digging it too, by the way. Like, this is actually a lot of fun. It's cool watching.
I Am Batman number 7 came out this month. So go ahead, take it away. Quick summary.
Yeah, it's quick summary. Basically just more of the same, I forget her name, but the detective who was kicked out of Gotham, now working in New York, she's like working her way up into Jace's, like, I guess, like, approval status, because he's now working with the government, and that's cool. And you could see like the fight within the government, because some of the people don't want to work with Batman, this version of Batman and whatnot. But so it's cool. There's the power struggle within the government itself, and then there's Batman working with the police department. It's fun aspects of this, like, kind of like murder mystery, and it's cool. It's just a cool little detective story. Like, and I'm digging it. The action's good. Ken Lashley draws a hell of a book. The suit reminds me a lot of Pattinson's. And, it's cool watching Batman take down, just kind of more, but street level. Like, he's not fighting supervillains. He's fighting just regular psychopaths, if that's a term. So it's
Yeah.
it's a fun book. And the fact that it takes place in New York, there's a lot of places that like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. And it's fun. And like, it's interesting, and it's a solid Batman story. And I'm interested to see where it leads to.
All right. There you go.
So yeah,
Excellent.
I enjoy it.
Last Batman. I Am Batman. Future State Gotham, number 11. You've been in since the ground floor on this story.
Yeah, which is cool. This is what really kind of got me wanting to read I Am Batman, because I was like, I like how Jace is written in this stuff. And I was like, let me see if it translates over, even though it's a different writer. But like, I'm kind of digging this whole, I didn't hate Future State, so I like it. But there's basically the primary story is this kind of like Red Hood, Jace Batman, Harley Quinn taking down this new version of the Joker who's unlike the traditional Joker, and Nightwing involved as well. And it's just, I'm just digging it. I love this whole like future aspect, and this new Joker is very interesting. He's more kind of like the Juggernaut than he is the Joker, but he probably has more in line looks wise with Barry Cohegan. Ironically enough, like he's supposed to be ugly and hideous. So it's cool. It's a fun story. I love these future state things, and the fact that it's in black and white is really interesting.
Yeah.
Gives me Frank Miller vibes. And then there's a cool Bruce Wayne backup story written and drawn by Raphael Albuquerque.
Oh, nice.
Involving
damn, I gotta check
Scarecrow.
that one out.
Yeah,
I like his art.
Yeah, and it's in black and white, so it stands out. You got Dead Man, Batman, Dead Man type of story, and it's just it's that cool little perspective there. So, but yeah, Future State Gotham is
consistently delivers for you, doesn't it?
For me, yeah. Every week, every month, I've really enjoyed this. Probably been one of my more favorite stories, to be honest with you, and
cool.
It provides a lot of variety.
Is there an end game for this one, or it's ongoing?
I have no idea. I don't know. We'll see. I'd rather have Future State. To me, it works better than dominating the entire like line of like heroes, making them all like in this timeline.
Yeah,
I kind of like, oh, what's going on in Nightwing, and then I have like this Nightwing on a different Earth 30 years in the future. Like to me that's cool. Like I can have the best of both worlds. So like I appreciate the Future State Gotham book as opposed to the whole Future State line. But I enjoy it. Like I don't mind where they're going. I appreciate the difference. Just tell me like this is not Prime Earth or whatever the hell it's called now.
Yeah. It's an Elseworlds kind of story.
Yeah. Even though there's no Elseworlds branding on it, I wish they would bring that back. I feel like Elseworlds doesn't exist anymore.
Do it.
Do it. Infinite.
So, Pete, we come to the end of the road. Boys to Men sang it best, with a book that I've been in since the ground floor, and that's the Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries.
I didn't pick up issue 12. I'm sorry. I still have to. I'm going to. I forgot I was in the shop. I was late for work.
Issue 12 of 12. This is it.
This was your Bat title of the year, right?
No, it wasn't. But I mean, it was fun. It was consistently fun for me.
You loved
I had a lot of fun
with
it. I thought it was. I thought it was a lot of fun. And this issue, then I will withhold specifics on it. But much like Pete will recommend to me, I like to sometimes recommend to him of just read this one because I think that you will enjoy it. In which Pete says, "Oh, is Scrappy making an appearance?" And I said, "I cannot tell you anything." But no. Anyways, I
don't know why you hate Scrappy Doo so much.
He's terrible. So this was just a lot of
essential
fun.
Character.
It continues with kind of like every issue. It's just like the old time show. There's a mystery, they got to solve it, and they do. But it's the fun along the way. It's the stuff that is included, the images included. That's really that to me was the biggest kicker of all of this. It wasn't, they really got me involved in this mystery. It's like, no, it's what else is included in this issue. And it's the last issue of this series. So they really went balls to the wall with it. And I love that they did that. So they released the trade of the first 6 issues and I bought it. When they released this trade of the second 6 issues, like I'm going to buy it too, because I thought that this was just a lot of fun for us, for a young generation just getting into comics, for kids. Like Ryan Haas's daughter definitely will love this comic if he hasn't been reading it to her and shown her already. It kind of hits all ages. I think it was just a lot of fun. So Batman Scooby-Doo, until next time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
definitely. I'd be disappointed if it was not up to your standards. Like,
I
can you
would-
imagine if Batman Ninja Turtles 4 comes out and it's horrible?
Oh my God.
Exactly. Like, who wants that?
I don't want to live in that world. Let's move along to the next Tuesday. Or
What
March
is?
15th.
I don't have the Lauer list, so I'm guessing here.
Batman the Night #3.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
have
Here
you
we
go
go.
first
Now.
with this one, okay?
Eh,
For you.
like
Okay.
it's okay. I just.
Why was it just okay for you?
I
I'm not
don't
here
know.
to argue with you. I'm just curious.
It's not because it's not well written. It's just like, all right, they're doing Batman's origin again. Okay, like, I don't know. Just the interesting plot point was that they stole from the serial killer that they're tracking down. Like, that the police are tracking down. So that's interesting. I don't know. This I like the first one. For some reason, this one just didn't hit the same with me. I'm just kind of like, okay, like Batman falls out of love. She fires him, right? Ducard dies. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot going on here.
Dead. Bum, bum,
I know.
bum.
I know.
Bum, bum, bum.
But I'm just sitting there. I'm just kind of like, okay, it's interesting. The big fight at the end, like with the claw guy. I don't know.
I will give you this. I don't think it was at the same level of the first 2 issues.
But the voicemail at the end.
The voicemail at the end was like awesome. Flat out awesome. That was an A+.
That's what keeps me coming back. And I'll tell you that right now. That's what's keeping me back.
But the rest of the issue I thought was good still. I kind of feel like the previous 2 issues felt a little bit more, you can see how this is related to the core of the character. Yeah. More than this issue had. It had more moments like that than this issue had, I think. But I mean, it's still delivered for me. Mm-hmm. I'm in the whole way, unless this takes a really drastic turn of like, what are we even doing here? In the next 4 issues. But I think
if this is like the tip of the Batman Alfred iceberg, I'm still in for this.
For that alone, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like I've enjoyed 2 out of 3. Like, I'm not saying this is a bad issue. It's kind of like Williamson's Batman, where that's a good that's a solid Batman detective story. It's just kind of like what's kind of going on around it. I'm not really feeling, like I'm not saying, like I said earlier, it's a well written, like it's a cool caper. There's twists, there's turns. For me, it's just, I don't know. Like I was like, okay, this is all right for now. Like I'm sure the next issue will be better.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, Pete, like in the Batman, let's shoot you with some adrenaline now, and let's talk about Batman Superman World's Finest #1.
Oh wow! Here we go. I gotta go to the end of the stack.
Because I think you have a complete opposite reaction to this book.
Oh, this book's
the night
great.
#3. So first of all, I saw that there were variants. So the initial, the regular cover is Dan Mora. What? You calm
Which
down.
is a fantastic artist.
Dan Mora, who we've talked about, because we're now beginning year 2 of the Batman monthly wrap-ups. Yes. And we talked about Dan Mora a lot in year 1. And
he drew a lot of detective.
I really, really love Dan Mora's work. He also does a series called Once and Future, which is also really, really damn good. He did he did Danny DeVito's Penguin story.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So his cover, of course, was awesome. But I also saw that Jim Lee was doing a variant. I'm like, very cool. Mm-hmm. And also Jason Fabok was doing a variant. Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear a little more excitement in your voice, please.
I'm excited because I bought the Dan Mora oval with the 89 logo. That's why I'm excited.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Come on.
Of course that makes sense.
I got Jason Fabok's variant because and I was excited.
That actually looks very Jim Lee.
Jason Fabok is a combination. You threw Jim Lee and David Finch in a blender, and you got Jason Fabok.
That's
good. I've always viewed that.
Yeah.
And he was actually an apprentice of David Finch. Anyways.
Okay, there you go.
And I think Jim Lee's his favorite artist. Anyways, I was surprised my comic shop still had it, or had it in general. I think I want to go and get the Dan Mora issue because I love that.
Damn right. I love that. It's a wonderful ensemble cover.
But yes, that cover is great, and of course it's great. Pete loves it. There's a yellow oval, and it's the 89 yellow oval. Written by Mark Waid.
Yeah. This is a big book.
I think some people know who he is.
Yeah.
And illustrated, by Dan Mora.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that this was a lot of fun. The inclusion of some other characters is the part that may take me out a little bit.
Oh God!
Why can't we be friends, Pete?
Because
I support that you have a different view than I do on things, and I don't get that support.
You should just listen to me.
Hurts. I envy Eric, or I feel for Eric. You're a difficult one. I don't envy Eric.
Not with all the complaints he gets.
Yeah.
Final E33 at twitter.com.
I don't envy him. But the book takes place in Metropolis. I think it's a blast. Yeah. You have Poison Ivy doing her thing. And she's expecting Superman, but she gets Batman and Robin again. And that image looks great. In that yellow oval, that 89 yellow oval just shines. And she's surprised it's Batman and Robin. And then you get Metallo, and then Superman shows up for that. We get a flashback to the Penguin's involvement and Superman.
A lot of Penguin lately, huh?
Yeah. Your boy Oz. And then it's Batman and Robin, and Batman and Superman, like, shake hands, like, we're best friends, let's have a sleepover. And then you get teased for stuff that's coming up later. This was an action-packed. Red Kryptonite gets involved. Mm-hmm. Like, this was an action-packed issue from beginning to end. I thought it probably. I feel like it delivered probably for everybody who was even remotely interested in this book.
It felt like I was reading one of Loeb's Superman Batman books. Like, it had that vibe to it, just pure comic book fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously because it can't, right? It's Batman and Superman, but it's as serious as can be.
Yeah.
I thought Dan Mora drew probably the most amazing Robin I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. Okay.
I think his Robin is because it's pixie boots, it's Dick Grayson, but it's not like he's got green pants. It's like this is a cool version of Robin. This is like the version of Robin, and his Poison Ivy is absolutely stunning. So like Mora again, just beautiful. Gotta love him, and the way he tells the story with his panels and his layouts is great, and it's just such a wonderful comic book. It just is spanning. Past and present, just really fun first interactions. Just a wonderful, wonderful comic book that if you're a fan of either of these characters, you'll love it. It's a perfect blend of Batman and Superman. It really does it's 50-50 down the middle. There hasn't been a Batman Superman story this good in a long time, in my opinion.
Oh, and high praise.
Yeah, no, it's good. And the last two runs I know people have bought. Or it maybe be the last one. I think it was called Superman Batman, or was it Batman Superman? I forget what the last Batman. But this seems like it's going to be something special.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of like it's a throwback. I think to comic book.
It feels kind of 70s, right?
Yeah, and it's I know it's in Metropolis, but it seems brighter. It's fun, but not in the way of sacrificing seriousness.
Yeah.
It is the storyline is like it's mature, but it's not overdoing it or anything. It's not clashing with the vibe it's trying to be.
Right.
I just found like it was a good blend. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm intrigued where it's going to go. I'm intrigued by the shadowy figures. Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued the inclusion of the other characters that come in, because I don't know. I hope that I'm in this for the long haul because I think it's an ongoing series.
I think you'll love this. I think you're really going to love this, especially you, someone who
what
doesn't really, let's say, explore the outer realms of the DCU. I think this will be nice.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I stick to Batman and
you don't really dive into Superman. So I think for someone like you, this will scratch that Superman itch.
There you go. Okay. There's an upcoming like Batman and Superman, or should I say Superman Batman itch we're gonna scratch. Hey-o!
Oh geez. We're gonna watch BVS.
What's that?
Let's watch BVS.
Yeah, let's do that. Moving on.
Ookses.
There was let's see, March 22nd. That one that had the conclusion of Detective Comics for Batman specific, and that was about it. So then March 29th, the final Tuesday in March. Pete, the long-awaited return to the Murphyverse. Beyond the White Knight, number one.
This I have to do the unfortunate way because
you got to go digital.
You're
going digital here.
I only go digital for
I've been looking forward to this. Sean Murphy, he was during the process of like White Knight and Curse of the White Knight, he was very open to followers and readers on kind of what his plan was and how development of the verse was going. Followed up White Knight with Curse of the White Knight, which seemed pretty quickly. And then he said also expanding the world a little bit more. And he's like, I'm, these two, and then I'm going to take a break, and then I'll come back for my next chapter. Which is
I believe his wife wrote a Harley Quinn book in between.
Yeah, and that was the first kickoff of staying in the universe, but visiting as like a supporting character. And that one, Harley Quinn, written by Katana Collins, illustrated by Matteo Scalera. That was a great book.
Oh, I loved it. I liked it more than Curse, actually.
I was going to say, yeah, you told me that you liked that more than Curse. This summer, I believe, is the Jason Todd or Red Hood spinoff series.
Which looks interesting.
Jason Todd and Red Hood instead. So that's like, I'm intrigued by that.
Yes.
But so I was really excited because I loved White Knight and Curse of the White Knight. I loved Harley Quinn. I've gotten to review all of them on BOF. I've loved all three series. I really am.
The Murphyverse.
So this one, even though it's including Batman Beyond, who I don't not like, it's just never something I go and grab. I was really interested to see.
You hate Batman Beyond.
No, I hate Nick Sednick. Kidding, Zeddy. You know I'm kidding. But I was really interested. I was really excited for what his spin on including Batman Beyond was going to be like.
Yeah.
So that being said, issue number 1, which Pete, by the way, I don't know if you're going to try, if you have this on your pull list, but I think that the standard cover of issue 1 is going to be a hot item because there's a shortage in printings of that one.
Okay.
So just a heads up.
All right.
Like cover A, I think. But anyways, Pete, I'll let you go first. What did you think? Since Murphy has more of a task to get you on board with this than me.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job of blending the mythology of Batman Beyond with what his world is. There's still things about like the Murphverse that are very weird to me. I thought his version of the Batman Beyond suit was very interesting. There's a few extra spikes than I am used to, but I liked including Terry. I wonder who Terry's talking to. I like the suit. I like how the suit has almost like a
we know who he's talking to.
Do we?
I can tell you now, or just have you read it again.
Did I miss something? Who is he talking to?
I think he was talking to Powers, not Ryan Powers.
Is that who you think he's talking to? Okay.
Yeah, because I thought that he. Yeah. Because go ahead, carry on. But I'm pretty sure that's who I got out of it.
Okay. I guess so. He's got him on the wristband there. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I see it now as I'm flipping through the book. I was kind
the more you know. Listen to the Batman book.
I was kind of hoping it was Oracle. Like I'm thinking about it. I guess I didn't piece together like Powers can see him. I guess I thought that was like just a picture that pops up when somebody calls you. So okay, I misinterpreted that. But all right, so that adds to the dynamic of Bruce Wayne versus Derek Powers merging, because I always felt like it was kind of weak in the story. Like I know Blight was created to give Terry an arch nemesis, but I kind of dig where this is going. It does bother me that Batman's identity's out there and that Bruce Wayne's in prison, but like I get it. It's like a self-contained universe, and but I'm into it. The story's interesting. I'm interested. I'm wondering what the hell Dick Grayson's doing. I'm not a big fan of Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
I wonder what Jason's up to. Because did he sound the alarm? I don't know. But it's interesting. And he did a really good job of translate. I like what he's doing with Harley and her kids, and there's a lot more good in it than bad. So I'm with it. Like it just,
cool.
And I'm waiting to see. It seems like he toned down the homage a lot. Like we see one Batman 89 grapple gun, and that's pretty much it. So usually there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs in a Sean Murphy Batman book, but I believe you love this.
There was one very small, but when Harley goes up to Jackie's room at home, and on the wall is all these like punk band posters and stuff. I mean, one says Slayer, but then another one says Denny, and another one says Tim. So maybe there's a small little nod.
Okay,
I mean, it's the smallest thing, but I noticed that one right away. I was like, oh, cool, because I like you. I'm like, oh, he loves to include Easter eggs in.
I see them now. Okay,
so
cool.
I just zoomed in on that part. But overall, I think the story is interesting. I like the. I don't want to say it, where he planted the seeds of. Oh, so you have Terry breaking into the old Batcave. He gets the Beyond suit, so he now is Batman. But it seems like he's basically working with Powers. Powers is basically fondled the Wayne name.
Fortune.
And so Batman's like, I gotta stop, or Bruce is, I gotta stop this Powers guy, and I gotta stop this new Batman. But I think we're gonna see that Terry's kind of like, he's innocent in thinking he's not gonna be like a villain through and through. It's Powers is deceiving him because that's what he does. Never trust the Powers. And
that's not true. Ryan Powers is a saint. You leave my boy alone.
All right. I've always liked the look of the Batman Beyond suit.
So why do you hate Batman Beyond so much?
I don't hate it. It feels very...
As much as Ryan Lauer can hate something, you hate Batman Beyond.
No.
Like, it's not Rick Shoe level hate, but that's true. Like, it's up there.
I hate that guy. But...
he sucks.
I think... Whereas it's funny, Batman the Animated Series has still aged really well. I don't think the Batman Beyond has. You watch that show, and it was... And I think that, like, they're what they think is hip and cool and all with like the music and stuff, and it's really loud, and they're constantly like electric guitars, and I don't know, it's kind of like
old man. Old man, look at my life.
We're on Batman Book Club. We're not on Straight Outta Gotham, Pete. So I am not Eric Holzman.
I might be looking at Aquaman Jr.
The story just never necessarily resonated perfectly for me. Okay, it just doesn't. It's like it's okay, but I love the bat suit. I love how I went on this tangent of me defending not liking Batman
Your
Beyond.
Your hatred of Batman Beyond, yeah.
How dare you? All right, this is the last Batman Monthly wrap-up that Pete and I will ever have on the show. Let's get back to Batman Beyond the White Knight, number 1. I like the seeds planted. I like Bruce's his presence in jail. He's going to get out. You know it. I like we're continuing on with Harley and her kids. The look that Jackie has is pretty interesting. The relationship of Jason and Bruce. I love how, and Murphy's done this since, White Knight, of the shadows, like a shadow of Bruce is like Batman's shadow.
Yes.
Stuff like that's cool. Always fun to me.
Did it with Harley.
And then I'm really curious what we end on and what that is.
Yeah.
How that's going to play out. That's really cool.
It reminds me of Scream.
What?
It reminds me of Scream 6.
5?
5, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay, well, there we go. I thought you were talking about the original.
Don't you kind of feel that?
I understand now what you're saying.
That kind of tells you what's going on without telling you what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
I like it how we're selective. Like, we're going to spoil this book, but we're not going to spoil this one.
We didn't fully spoil.
On the same show.
We didn't tell him that Billy Loomis is in Beyond the White Knight. Ah, damn it.
Oh,
there it is.
There it is. Got
All right, so I'm in. I feel like I've missed if they said that this is going to be 8 issues, but I feel like it probably is going to be because White Knight and Curse the White Knight were both 8 issues. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like that's probably what this is going to be. But it's it's cool. Off to a really cool start. Very happy. I think
it's cool. We've got like 3 universes going on right now in Batman.
Pick your poison. No.
You've got main continuity, you've got Future State Universe, and you got the Murphyverse. So I think that's cool.
Add another one. You got the Jockverse. No, not Eric Holzman written comics. You've got Jock's One Dark Knight Black Label series. because that too came out the last Tuesday of this month. So that's a good Tuesday of Black Label.
I like this a lot.
Black Label Batman. So I was trying to think, and I think I couldn't remember.
Is this oversized?
It is. I love that format.
This is, you know how I like keeping the oversized books until I got the collection.
Uh-huh.
I'm just breaking all my rules here for Ryan Tower.
Yeah. Okay. But this had like a little bit of like a 310 to Yuma vibe. That's the movie I was trying to think of and telling you last month that I couldn't think of. Escorting a prisoner to a destination and the many speed bumps along the way.
That's cool. I was thinking that mixed in with like No Man's Land.
Yeah.
Because like
your
the
favorite.
city's blackout. Yeah, which is great. Like I get No Man's Land anything, and I'm like, this is the best thing.
I love it. I love it. But I really, really liked. I mean, it just seemed like such a badass, action-packed book one, and that continues with book two. Book two I thought was awesome, just as cool as the first issue.
Book two almost felt more like Escape from LA or Escape from New York.
Yeah, so there you go, perfect. That was okay. Well done, Pete. Yeah. 310 to Yuma, Escape from New York, Batman: One Dark Knight.
Like just solid. It's just solid. You mix Batman in there. It's just solid action. It's great. It's great. And Jock's artwork is so just like mysterious, but yet dark. But Batman's blue.
He makes sure to squeeze in one Batman flying with his cape out, because that's the Jock special, is having that cape out and it's in all its glory. And yeah, he looks great, looks awesome. The fact of like the EMP affecting to where it is literally, it's one dark night around Gotham, and like it's just, I'm really curious. Did not see coming what he did with one of the characters at all, and it totally makes sense though too. It's not only for shock factor. I think that I'm excited to see where that goes. Which I thought this was a four book story. It's only a 3, so it concludes. It says in the back.
Great.
Yeah, it says in the back June.
We got a while.
So yeah, we got a couple months. Plus one. But yeah, One Dark Night, number 3. I thought it was stellar. You have anything else to say?
No, it's fantastic. It just is. It's a damn good Batman book.
Damn good Batman book.
Probably my number 2 book of the month.
Okay. I can't say anymore. It's ooh.
Jamie's like, they're ooksing again. Oh my god.
Your brother's listening and he's like, oh, Ooksis. I'm so sick of it.
Ooksis. Oh god. Ooksis.
Remember earlier when I was telling you when Pete recommends I listen? Peter hit me up last night, not even 12 hours ago, and said, you need to read Shadow War Alpha number 1. It's a Batman book.
Yeah.
So I did.
And?
I thought it was excellent.
It's really interesting. It's and
this is coming in. I haven't read Deathstroke Inc. I haven't read the Robin title.
Which have both been fantastic because they've both been written by Williamson.
Josh Williamson, yeah.
So it's like, this is clearly, he wrote this as well, right?
Yes. So this
is clearly like his big grand scheme. This is like a Jeff Johns move.
Because then also the next 2 issues of the Batman title are fitting into Shadow War.
Mm-hmm.
So it's his big story that he's telling. Now, me not reading Deathstroke or Robin, I still feel like I got 80% of it.
Yeah, Deathstroke and Robin really are establishing those characters. But when you get to this point, you're like, I see what you were doing the whole time. So like he's definitely been planting seeds and breadcrumbs. You just have no idea that you've been getting them, and that's what makes him a great writer.
So who's the white-haired woman?
Rose? That's his daughter, isn't it?
No. Like she popped in.
I gotta open up the book.
In the Robin. Oh, it says my son. Okay. But she looked kind of different other than just like white hair in like the Robin book.
Let's see.
So that's Raz's mom?
Oh yeah, that's Raz's mother. They were doing that so we meet Damien's grandmother, great grandmother.
Okay.
like we meet her, and I mentioned this earlier. Like they'd almost made Roz kind of sympathetic character for a little bit. It was very interesting how like for a long time
Okay.
we don't feel anything for Roz, and then we see who his mother is. And you're like, oh wow, this kind of makes sense.
So I mean, but interesting setup, interesting where it goes. Definitely feels like it is essential reading to really get the story up and running. Can I say though that I loved that these are what I love these kind of moments in comics, and I'd love for them to do it. Nolan actually kind of did it, I think, at the beginning of The Dark Knight by using Scarecrow, always using Scarecrow, but like for a cold open villain or something. And we get, I mean, it's 3 pages. We get Lockup.
Yeah,
You know, it's just for a fun entry of Batman, which then we get an awesome page of Batman for his debut in the story, and then the story takes off. So, Pete, go ahead, tell me everything that you want to tell me on this Pete recommendation.
no, it's just fun. Like as I said, I've been building up to this, and I know this is coming, and I was surprised at how much Batman this actually was. This seems to be a real, Deathstroke, Batman, Talia, Damian centered story, and usually those guys, when they mix it up, it's for something really good. And basically, Talia or Roz created a clone from Deathstroke and Talia's DNA. So there's like this kid who looks like Damian with white hair running around, and he's messing around with Damian a little bit. So it's very interesting. Like you've seen Damian kind of be on the opposite end, like him going after Grayson or Drake because of their status with his father. And it's interesting seeing someone kind of go after Damian like that. Like you kind of had the childhood I should have had. Like it's like, oh wow, they kind of spun Damian around a little bit in his transformation. But it's just a really cool, just grand scale thing that Williamson was doing. I said earlier it was a Jeff Johns movie. Like Jeff Johns would like write all these stories that culminate into one event, and that's really what he's been doing. And he's been doing it pretty effortless up until recently, when you're like, oh, this is all going to kind of intertwine. So I'm digging it. I can't imagine anybody else. And there's a lot of great variant covers, and the oval is just front and center. So just a lot of good stuff in this book.
Victor Bogdanovic did pencils, and I thought the art was awesome.
He did. I'm a big fan of I think I said Bogdanovich, but like I think that's a basketball
Victor
player.
B.
Yeah, he did a couple issues of Detective, so I'm familiar with his stuff, and I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Well done. Ramifications throughout the Batman books for at least like the next 2 months. So recommended from me.
Even Batman, like Lex Luthor makes an appearance, and we all know why. Yeah. So like this is interesting.
Best, right? Trust Lex always.
Well, he was just in Batman, is what I'm saying. Like this is this isn't just its own thing. This is incorporating a lot. I mean, I don't know what from Detective will come out of it, but you could see that this is just heavily lined with everything that's going on within Batman right now.
Yeah, and Peter, that's it for me on the Bat titles specifically. So let's do honorable mentions quick. Now, the follow-up to last month's Nightwing 89, it was a 2-part crossover with Superman Son of Kal-El #9. And which that book came out this month. That. You what?
I forgot about that, and I didn't put it on my pull list. I had to get that.
I didn't like it. It didn't feel like a 2-part crossover should feel like some kind of, finality. It didn't. It's like, oh, this is ongoing. So you say it's a 2-part crossover, it's not. And that kind of disappointed me. It left me very like, I just didn't really care in the end. There didn't feel like a resolution. It was, So then I saw Nightwing #90. Has the Flash in it. Much better.
That was a great story.
I thought that book was a lot of fun. I thought including Wally West made a lot of sense. It upped the ante of the storyline that's been playing out since Tom Taylor took over the book. It adds, like it's adding to it. It's part of his overall story, So I just had a lot of fun with that one. I liked that one a lot. And then Task Force Z #6.
That was great. Because
we can't get a monthly wrap-up without talking about Task Force Z. Continues to be a lot of fun. The Z silent.
Yes.
Only made me laugh that like the cover of it was, the Bat and the Furious. And you
I thought
think
that
like,
was
oh,
funny.
is this going to be like action packed, like cars and stuff? And I think that there was like 3 panels that had a car and that was it or something.
Yeah, it's an old school comic cover. It's very
Yeah.
deceiving.
But I mean, the art continues to be amazing. The story ends up being a lot of fun. I love how Two-Face has become more and more of a part of this story, and then where the story is going. Also, I just think that we're halfway through this book now, and it continues to be so much freaking fun. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, the art's great, but it wasn't Eddie Barrows
No.
this month. It's Jack Herbert, but it wasn't a case of like too far off.
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed seeing the Bruce and Jason moments. I thought those were very special. Interesting to find out how much Bloom is actually involved in this.
Yeah.
This is really like his first big appearance since Snyder created him back in the day for Robot
Kind of
Beard
a lot
Batman.
of redemption for Bloom because he soured a lot of people.
Yeah, I was actually a big fan. Bloom was probably the only thing I enjoyed of the. I think it was Super Heavy run.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him as a villain, so I would like to see real Batman take him on. But this is really cool. I'm enjoying his arc and seeing where that character goes. I'm very curious, though, like when does this story happen? Because you have Bane zombified in here, and then if we talk about Joker next, Bane makes an appearance. So, like, just kind of curious, like when does Bane unzombify? I wonder if that happens at the end of this journey.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting side of Two-Face, like you said. We don't really see him doing stuff like this very often. So very, again, just Rosenberg just does a lot of interesting things that kind of captivate me as a reader.
I like you, Matthew Rosenberg.
Yeah, big fan.
Doing a fabulous job. So Pete, why don't you go ahead and hit me up with all these books that were on your list that I jumped over?
Yeah, well, Catwoman 41 is really cool. The return of fan favorite Onyx. She made it her grand return to Gotham. It feels like forever. I feel like I haven't seen her since, I want to say, is around the War Games era? War Games, War Crimes, around that time. That was a cool character I kind of grew up reading, and I'm glad to see her back. And just Catwoman dealing with the mafia, being an inside, having dealing with the mafia kingpin's son and stuff like that. Just really cool. I enjoy it. It's just typical Catwoman hijinks and adventures. And then Joker 13 was brilliantly written by Tynan, and I was like, wow, this is finally going somewhere. We're finally finding out what's going on with the hillbillies and the oil and the Joker and Bane's clone daughter vengeance is just awesome. And then, like I said, Bane comes back and he made an appearance at the end of last issue and an appearance here with Jimbo. And I'm really digging it. And I'm fascinated by this Punchline, still Bluebird stories. So that's a lot of fun. Issue 13 of Harley Quinn by one of my favorites, Stephanie Phillips, just an adorable Harley Quinn issue. Someone is wearing a Harley Quinn costume and taking out mafia people, and she is framing Harley for it. So apparently the cops can't figure out that this chick is wearing a mask, even though she's clearly wearing like one of these masks. It's like one of those superhero costumes that looks really weird, but it's like it's like that tight spandex. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Where the face is like imposed. Like you ever see the ones with the Flash? Like it looks like that version. Like it's just, I don't know. She looks weird. Like clearly that's a person in a costume, right? Like you can just, but for some reason, like, oh no, that's Harley Quinn. We got to go after Harley Quinn. So it's like insanity and it's just really fun. So I'm enjoying that. I mentioned Robin and Deathstroke Inc. Those are great. Batgirls is a lot of fun seeing Stephanie and Cassandra get into hijinks with Oracle. I really highly recommend that book. It's just a joy to read. The dynamic of these three is really fun, and it's just like if you like '90s comics, I can't imagine you wouldn't like this. So that's that. And the finale of Arkham City: Order of the New World or whatever it is, that book by Dan Waters. Is that Daniel Waters who wrote Batman Returns? I haven't been able to figure that out. But if it is, no wonder why I like this book's crazy. Just in crazy adventures surrounding a doctor in Arkham who tried to help a patient kind of like escape and then getting caught in the wings. And Azrael's involved, so Brian Haas will love this. And really just a bonkers Gotham City story.
Nice.
Batman's not involved in it, but it's one of the more interesting things you could read this month, if you ask me. So if you guys can find the trade for that when I think it's printed, I think it'll read better that way. But it's like, Ryan, I think you should give it a look. I think you would dig it.
Okay.
He's not going to read it.
No, but you just looked at me in my eyes and said, Ryan, I think that you should read this.
Yeah, I did.
He doesn't do that all the time. So
It's
I've got to pay attention.
Remember when it was like, I was like, hey guys, I think Endless Winter is going to be really good. I think you should pick it up. And I was like, no, man, Rod Marsh is done. His time has passed. I'm not reading that stuff. And then Ryan was like, this is right now. We're going to talk about it.
Well, I don't think that I said that Rod Marsh is done or anything. I just said, okay.
No, I think that was Justin. Just like, Rod
There you
Marsh
go.
is
Okay.
done, bro.
Yeah, it's Justin Kowalski.
Justin Kowalski. I'm listening to this podcast when I'm getting a new tattoo.
What's his tattoo of?
I'm getting Daredevil tattooed on my ankle.
Now he's getting the new Batmobile on his inner thigh, I think.
No, he will not do that. He will not do that.
No, right. There it is. Okay, well, that does it. Batman books for the month of March. Pretty good month. That's a big month. Nice. Hour and 15, yeah. So
we had like one light month after like what was it, like November was like the crazy month, or was it December?
Man, January or February was pretty pretty light. One of those two is pretty light.
Can you like talk to them and tell them to just slow it down a little bit?
Well, there's no more Batman Scooby-Doo. Detective Comics won't take up 20 minutes of our time because it's only one issue. So
I'm happy that's over, but not for like as a Batman's perspective when someone has reviewed the book.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. Like, oh man, I got another again.
Yeah.
Around like the fourth one, you're like, oh my God, it's not even half over yet.
Pete, I did Batman Eternal reviews. That was 52 weeks straight. Wow. And I did all of them.
That's crazy. That's a lot, man.
That was a thing where I don't know that I was enjoying the story because it was like, I got to try and write something that sounds different than the past 19 weeks.
Oh.
So I feel it.
That's tough. Did you do Batman and Robin Eternal?
I did that one too. But that one was like every other week, I think, or something. Mm-hmm. Or it was just 26 weeks straight, which somehow it was a relief. A little bit more of a relief. And I actually think that story was better than Batman Eternal. I liked Batman and Robin Eternal a lot.
I liked them both, yeah.
Yeah. So, Pete, we can't get out of here yet without talking a little bit of Batman polls. There's been a lot lately as we've done the bracket challenge to find the greatest Batman writer. But also concerning last episode, Nick Zednick, if you didn't like the poll options on this, blame him, Nick Zednick, at Nick Zednick. But the last poll question was, as discussed on the newest episode, which Robin do you think has the best origin story? And then a disclaimer, Twitter only allows 4 options, so if you're upset someone was omitted, send all complaints to at Nick Zednick. The 4 options were Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, and Carrie Kelly. And with a 64% winning vote, Dick Grayson, the fans thought was the Robin with the best origin story. Did you vote on that one, Pete?
I did.
Okay. Did you vote Dick Grayson?
I did.
Okay. Very good turnout on that one, too. So I appreciate everybody
participating. Answer your poll with a poll. Which Robin has the second best origin? Because my vote actually goes to Jason Todd.
That is a good follow-up.
To be honest with you. Jason Todd might actually have the best Robin origin.
I have to put some more thought into it, because him or Tim Drake. But
Drake's is good, but I think Todd's is just
Todd's has a lot of. He's an uphill battle. He could have been like a lost
Drake
cause.
has the most heroic origin of any hero. Like it's weird, like.
And I guess
he discovers who they are and then joins them in battle. Like there's nothing really depressing about Drake's origin. It's very rare. Whereas Jason Todd stealing hubcaps off the Batmobile as a poor kid, Dick Grayson.
I know that Eric Carter could come on here and make a case for Damian Wayne, but I'm going to shut that down right now.
Damian is an illegitimate. We're gonna have to sit down with Eric one day.
Next thing I know, on The Fire Rises, defending Damian, an entire episode about Damian Wayne.
Sit down with Eric one day. We gotta get this Damian stuff straight now.
Yeah, let's figure this.
We're your friends.
Now, next time he comes back on this show, it's gonna be pure Damian Wayne story. I'm like, damn it,
Robin, son of Batman, #1.
Yeah. Or maybe he'll choose the Grant Morrison issue that was Damian as Batman in the future.
Oh, Batman 666.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I got two
Okay.
of those.
Thank you everybody always for voting, and the newest Batman poll. That if it's not there when you listen to this episode, hang in there because it's coming. What was your favorite Batman book of March? Limited at 4. Pete, I'm going to give these 4 options.
Okay.
Batman Killing Time, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Batman Superman World's Finest, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the White Knight, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Or One Dark Knight, number 2.
Killing Time. Landslide.
Killing Time of those options?
Landslide, yeah.
Now, out of any of the Bat books, was that also your favorite Batman book of the month?
Yes, it was. Killing Time was my book of the month.
All right. Very cool. I chose those 4 because I feel like all of those came out swinging and were damn good. Gosh, that's tough for me to answer. But I think that I will say...
Answer it.
That's tough, Pete.
Make a
One Dark
decision.
Knight, number 2. Ugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the other this is a good one. I hope that the poll shows, the results show that everybody else believes that this is a...
Well, sometimes people say you can't trust the polls.
Okay.
Just saying. Okay. You've heard it said before, haven't you?
Only from Pete.
Clearly you don't listen to left shoe politics.
I don't. Apologies. Not until Rick starts listening to Straight Outta Gotham. Well, I listen to Left Shoe Politics, so there you go. Pete, I want to thank you again for coming back on the show.
Well, thank yourself. You keep inviting me.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, for inviting Pete. Come on to continue the monthly wrap-ups. And Pete, you're going to be coming back on for a regular discussion really soon.
I wonder... I've been on a ban for a little bit. Not a ban, but I've been on like a punishment, I guess.
Okay.
Ryan likes to like limit my usage on the show.
Not really. Don't you zip it?
Like, you've been on too much here. I gotta have other people on. Like Ryan, you're the one who schedules me.
That's not true. So anyways, you're coming back for a regular episode soon. Pete, why don't you just plug away right now?
Well, you can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Verra, at Pete Illustrated. You can follow podcast number 1, Straight Outta Gotham, at straight_O_G on both Instagram and Twitter. Consider joining our Facebook group, and please follow our Facebook fan page. You can follow podcast number 2, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast, at Italians for Spidey on Twitter. Please check out our latest show. We talked about Spider-Man comics and amazing. We talked about the new casting in the Madam Web movie that's being made. And we talked about St. Joseph's Day and pastries. So if you have a sweet tooth, I think you would really enjoy that. Also check out at Team Yellow Oval as we're getting ready for Andy Muschietti's Flash movie, the Batgirl movie, Keaton returning, the Oval on the big screen. It's all over print now. It's in Batman. It's in Killing Time. It's all of this. I believe it's in Killing Time. It may not be, but it's in more than one title. It's in World's Finest. So it's all over the place. The Oval's back. And that makes me very happy, even though Ryan won't buy the Oval variant covers. Check out batmanonfilm.com for my reviews of Detective Comics. I just finished reviewing 12 books in a row. And that was very interesting. And Batman Detective Comics was a fun read. Check out House of Gotham. That was great. And check out Batman on Film YouTube for my interviews with Michael Uslan or my toy reviews. Or
your Batman Calzone review.
Or you can watch. You could, for some reason, if you want to watch me eat. Yeah, want to watch me eat pizza? That's up there as well. So I would love for you to just critique that.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, just watch me chew food. So you could do that. I always forget about that. Bill's like, it's the greatest thing that's ever been on Batman on Film. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I love it. I'm like, all right. So
I've watched it once, and I will never forget it.
You've never I wonder how many views it's got.
I wonder how many. I'm going to check it out, though. There you go, everybody. Bill, get back to you. Like, and there's a big spike in people watching your Bat Calzone review. What happened?
The Batman Book Club.
Yeah, we wanted everybody to watch Pete eat pizza.
Yeah,
why not?
Well, Ryan did.
Yeah. So if you want to follow the Batman Book Club, you can do that on Twitter and Instagram at thebatmanbc for upcoming episodes, latest episode drops, sometimes even some giveaways, and we're creeping toward episode 100. So that ought to be pretty fun. And then post episode 100 has some cool stuff coming up. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel on YouTube, the Batman Book Club. Let's see, what else should we say? Pete, if you want to support the show, you can do that in a variety of ways. One, like I said at the top of the show, you can go to patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Also, if you want to support the show, you can go to our sponsor, manscaped.com, get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Just use the code BATBOOK, BATBOOK. You can also go to TeePublic if you want some merchandise of the Batman Book Club. Just go to teepublic.com, type TBBC, and you will find Batman Book Club products. But if you want to support the show and you don't want to spend any money at all, that's 100% A-OK. You can just rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. A link to the rate and review page is in the description of this episode. The more reviews it gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as we all know, the word is panic. So, for Peter Rigatoni Verra, I am Ryan Lauer. And until next time, read more Batman comics.
Okay.